Of course, it's always game day in Cleveland. We are getting set for the game on Sunday at 1 o'clock. It is your Cleveland Browns hosting the Baltimore Ravens, and it is brought to you by, again, our podcast is brought to you by Bryant and Smiley One, Northeast Ohio's heating and cooling experts. We're really happy you're on board with us and that you are watching on YouTube or you're listening through the Odyssey app. Daryl, I want to talk about the AFC North, especially because this schedule will have now given the Browns in the first 4 weeks of the season all three of the opponents that we will see in the AFC North, and then you're sitting on a bye right after this. So what have we learned about the AFC North going into this third stanza against the Baltimore Ravens?
Well, I think that the division is exactly what we thought it was going to be. It's going to be a tight race all the way through. 3-team race. Maybe it'll turn into a 4-team race if Cincinnati gets hot here, which, by the way, I'm not discounting that from happening. The Browns, the way the schedule has worked out for them, they're playing a ton of games early on in their schedule. In fact, four of the first 5 games are at home,
right?
Which means they play 7 of the final 12 on the road.
Including Cincinnati week 18.
And they'll end up obviously in Cincinnati week 18. But, when I look at the schedule for the Browns, I see a few more wins on there, right? I mean, the Jets went from that was going to be a potential late season knockdown, drag out brawl for a potential playoff spot to now that's going to be a win for the Browns, right?
Right.
Just because that season in New York is going to pretty much go up in flames. Like the Bears are the laughingstock of the National Football League right now. So that's another one that I was like, I don't know how that's going to go with, Justin Fields there in Chicago. Well, that's a win, right? So when I look at where the Browns are at, I'm not going to discount their ability now to potentially win this division. I think they win Sunday. I think they're going to beat the Ravens. The Ravens are beat up. They are. They're very, and again, it's not going to be a Tennessee domination. It's not going to be a domination like we won against the Bengals. I think this is going to be one of the tougher games the Browns are going to play. But I do think that they're going to win the football game and get to 3-1. By the way, September, very good to Kevin Stefanski. He's very good at starting seasons. If they win on Sunday, it'll be the third time in 4 years that the Browns started 3-1 under Kevin Stefanski. And each of his 4 years as head coach, they have been 2-1 through the first 3 weeks of the season. So they start well, but then the attrition of the season tends to kind of catch up to them as you get deeper into the year.
I think it does for all teams, though, doesn't it? I mean, if you think about it, right? Yeah.
I get it, but my point is they're very good. It's starting the season strong. I think I thought 2-2. If they could go to the bye week 2-2, so from my perspective, they've already met the expectation for me because they're 2-1 right now. But I feel like this is winnable for them on Sunday. They should win. I feel like they're going to win to get to 3-1, which puts them a game ahead of the pace that I had put out there for them. And I said 10 to 11 wins going into the year, Andy. I might have to bump that up to 11-12.
Wow.
11-12 wins. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
So just the way this season, the picture and the way things are playing out. So, but yeah, this division's a very tough division. My opinion on it has not changed. I think it is the most competitive division in the National Football League this year.
I thought it was interesting because I was reading ESPN's power rankings. I think they had trying to think. They had the Browns at 9. I think the Steelers at 11, and they had the Ravens at 7. I think that's right off the top of my head, which I thought was extremely fair. I think that's right. I mean, look, I think the Browns are better than the Steelers. I think that if every once in a while, as you say, they had a craptastic game, and that offensively was a craptastic game for the Browns. It just was. I don't think, and we all know that teams have that every once in a while. It just happens in the NFL.
Would you like me to run through the power rankings for the
from ESPN? Was that right? I think the numbers are right there.
I was going to do NFL Network, CBS, and ESPN.
Okay, go ahead. Let's hear them.
So NFL Network has Miami number 1. As far as AFC North teams, Baltimore comes in at number 8, down a spot.
Okay.
Browns are 9th. The Bengals are 11th, and they have the Steelers 16th. Again, that's from NFL.com.
Do you buy that? Let me just say that. Can you buy that? I can see it. I can buy it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I buy it. ESPN put the 49ers as their number 1 team in Miami too.
Okay.
The highest ranked AFC North team is Baltimore at number 7.
I was right. Okay.
The Browns are 9.
Okay.
The Steelers are 11th.
Okay. I may have screwed that up. Okay.
And then they have the Bengals at 18.
Well, I think it's fair. What was the other one you were looking at? You said you had 3 in
That's
front of you.
CBS Sports.
Okay.
So CBS Sports actually goes San Francisco 1. They put Miami 4, which I don't know that I agree with that. Baltimore comes in at number 8 in their weekly rankings. The Steelers are 11. The Browns are 12. And the Bengals are 18. Ooh, no love for the AFC North in those CBS rankings. Woo. Wow.
Who'd you say? Where do they have the Ravens? Sorry, it clicked on me. That's why. Sorry.
Hang on here. I got to go back to it.
Sorry.
Ravens are 8. Ravens are 8, Steelers 11, Browns 12, Bengals 18 on CBS.
It'll be interesting to see who's right. I tend to agree with ESPN.
Does Fox do rankings? I don't think they do. Fox Sports. Oh yeah, they do.
Okay, what's Fox?
Yeah, Fox Sports does rankings. Here we go.
Okay.
They have Miami as their number 1 team.
Okay.
Which, by the way, I'm going to make a prediction. Miami will not be in the Super Bowl. They have Baltimore as the top team in the AFC North, ranked 7th. And then, wow, they have the Browns 11th, the Bengals 14th. And why do I feel like all of a sudden I missed? Wow, they put the Steelers, who are 2-1. They have the Steelers at 18th. Wow. So the 1 and 2 Bengals are 14, and they have.
But wait, I thought the AFC North was so tough. They have no respect. I tell you the other thing is they have no respect for the Browns defense. None of them do, if you think about it.
Yeah, they're probably saying that Joe Burrow was injured in week 1.
No one wants to give Deshaun Watson any credit for anything. That's not going to happen. It's going to take half a season for Deshaun to get any credit from anybody.
Well, he hasn't done anything to deserve any credit. Right
No, last week he was okay. I mean, he was to be mediocre. That's why I think these numbers are okay. Like ESPN, Deshaun's been mediocre at best, right? That's what we've seen. In 2 wins, he's been mediocre at best and got better again last week, arguably playing his best game. No interceptions, so that all those things helped.
He could have had 3 touchdowns if the
refs didn't
could actually see what he's doing. And he would have thrown for 350 yards in that game too, because that would have been a 65-yard touchdown. Instead, the ball was so that cost Deshaun 40 yards in passing and a touchdown, which again, that would have put him would have put him around 325 to 330 is where he would have landed with 3 touchdowns. And then people, I think, would have really, really gotten more excited nationally about that performance. But see, when you don't hit the 3 bills in a game, right? They don't want to come around and say that you played a good game, even though his completion percentage was outstanding at 27 of 33. So that's why, like, it's that 300-yard plateau. Like we were joking, you were busting my chops about that 16%, completion percentage or whatever. We talked about that in the last podcast. Well, the line of demarcation for like a quote good quarterback game is 300 yards passing and multiple touchdowns. And we have not gotten that performance from Deshaun. We've gotten 3 touchdowns last year against the Washington Commanders, but not 300 yards passing. We got 2 touchdowns last week against the Tennessee Titans, but not 300 yards passing, partially because he got the last 5 minutes of the game off because DTR got to go in the game. And hey, oh, by the way, conspiracy theory, what if the reason they took him off the field was because his shoulder was dinged up?
Well, that's not a bad thought. Although it was nice to see DTR get on the field.
Yes,
but I don't think you could be right. You could be right. You want the weird stat of the week? My buddy Chip sent this. He saw this on Fox 8 on their morning show. And it said they showed how the Browns have the 4th best defense after 3 games in the history of the NFL.
Oh, by yardage.
Yeah.
I think they've given
3 of those 4 teams. Say that again?
They've given up like 421 yards?
Yes. 100. Now, don't hold me to this, but I thought I saw this yesterday. They are 110 yards better than the 2nd best team in the NFL after 3 games.
They've given up 20 fewer first downs than the Buffalo, because for first downs allowed, 21 for Cleveland, and I think 41 for the Buffalo Bills. How crazy is that one?
So, again, the fourth best defense after 3 games in the history of the NFL. 3 of those 4 teams did not make the Super Bowl. The Lions, the Oilers, and the Browns are the only team that was this good after 3 games. 99 Tampa Bay Buccaneers made it.
And they won it, right? 99 Buccaneers won, didn't they?
Doug Williams, right?
Yeah.
Yep. Daryl, it has always been a pleasure. I was just one more thing. I'll just ask you real quick. You do think the Browns win on Sunday?
Yes, I do. I think they go to 3-1 into the bye week at 3-1, and no therapy Monday required on Baskin and Phelps. And are you taking the Browns? Or you?
Yeah, I am going to take the Browns. I will take the Browns again. I do think Njoku is due for a gigantic day. I'll just say that.
Yes.
I'm ready for that.
You know, it's interesting. So I asked him on Wednesday, because he's starting to ascend the franchise record books as far as most catches in front. I think he's 4th right now, and he might be 3rd. I have to look that up real quick. I'm having a brain cramp, but he's moving up those numbers. And if he ends this season with like 50 some catches or whatever, he'll be the number 2 receiver behind only Ozzie Newsome, the Hall of Famer, for tight ends in Browns history as far as receptions go. How cool is that?
My other prediction, this is my bold prediction for Sunday.
Okay.
Want it? The Marquise Goodwin connection. The Marquise Goodwin connection finally works on Sunday. They're going to find him on a long ball. That's my second prediction.
My second prediction behind Browns will win the game is that Amari Cooper will not get screwed out of any touchdowns on Sunday.
That's a good call. And that's why it's always game day in Cleveland. He's Daryl Ryder. I'm Andy Baskin for Meredith Kane, our outstanding producer. Thank you very much, Meredith.
And Taylor Swift correspondent.
That's true. That is true. And if you got a problem, why are you wasting your time writing it on the bottom of the screen? Seriously, go find something better to do. It's always game day in Cleveland.